So, guys, we're watching how one community note ended the smug artist's career. The scams, the empty promises, and the lies. Oh, this is Gomi, bro.
Human ingenuity is what allowed our species to overcome our biggest challenges through creativity and resourcefulness. It's what allowed our very distant ancestors to make the discovery of fire, and it's what most recently gave us access to the forbidden skies, allowing us to fly. And while throughout history there are many different examples of these incredible discoveries, it is in my humble opinion that our best discovery yet is probably pastries. That's right, whether that be a pain au chocolat, croissant, beignet, éclair, you name it.
What the fuck? I've never heard him speak French before. I'll be...
Humble opinion.
I know he's French. I know he is. I just never heard him speak it. What the fuck?
Throughout history, there are many different examples of these incredible discoveries. It is in my humble opinion that our best discovery yet is...
Oh, okay, I know it's like English words, right? But he has like the proper accent, you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Discoveries. It is in my humble opinion that our best discovery yet is probably pastries. That's right, whether that be a pain au chocolat, croissant, beignet, éclair, you name it.
Éclair. Éclair. Oh. That is... Wow, that's... Okay, I'm an idiot. Never mind.
There are very few things that can compare. And while France is easily the best place in the world to get any type of pastry, its residents, more specifically over the last few years...
My friend can speak French. Wait, that's so sick, dude.
...to come face to face with
That's
this industry's
so sick.
biggest, darkest secret. Industrial pastries, more notably, the croissant. Now look, this was a big deal. When you're going to a bakery, the expectation is that you'd be receiving something made in-house in the morning, fresh, delivered right into your hands. These bakeries, though, were selling these pre-frozen pastries under the guise of them being fresh, without giving any indication or disclaimer that they're pre-frozen, essentially scamming you. I mean, this was scandalous. It even led to the creation of a new label that certifies that, hey, this bakery actually does everything by hand. We don't use frozen products. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't take a genius to understand this problem. Why would I pay the same exact price, sometimes even more, for something that is pre-frozen when I could just use that same money to buy something made fresh in the morning?
True.
For the consumer, this didn't make any damn sense.
True.
That's simple to understand, right?
Well,
apparently,
I'm making
to some
gamers.
artists these days, this concept cannot get through their thick skulls for some reason. And when I say artists, I'm talking specifically about Gami, an artist that started her activity 6 years ago and was well known in the Vtuber community, all while being someone who very staunchly and publicly constantly opposed AI usage in art, calling out anyone who dared to use AI with their art or who faked the fact that they actually drew it. In fact, she would go even further and would draw an entire meme.
I've commissioned Gami 2 times. 3 times, actually. I think that she can draw if she tried. With that being said, that was the first commission I got, and it makes me wonder if it was AI used or not. The other 2 felt very rushed, and I felt really sad, and I talked about it with Decay. Decay's like the only one that knows how sad I was when I got back the final pieces for the last 2, and I was really sad. I probably should have said something sooner, because even in the fucking review, I was like, thank you so much, like, for drawing her. She looks so pretty. But entirely, I was so devastated because I was like, this doesn't even look like me. This doesn't even look like anything like me. What the fuck? I was like, what happened? What the fuck happened? I was so confused. I was so sad, and I commissioned them. And there was one commission that I had from them that lasted almost like... hold on, let me look at it real quick. Let me get my facts straight real quick. Oh, where is it? What? I know I got a third commission by them. Nah, I know I got a 3rd commission by them. Where is it? What the fuck? This one, I like waited like an entire month. I submitted on May and I didn't get it back till... Oh my God! Submitted May 30th, 2024. I didn't get it back till a year later. I feel like I remember you talking about something like this at VC. I think you were there, Andrew. I think you might have been there too when I was talking about it with Decay. And I was like super sad about like the commissions. This was the last commission that I had gotten from Gomi because I felt like it was a little bit rushed. And I know that's crazy because they had like an entire year. I know that's so insane. because they had an entire year. The reason why I commissioned them, because I thought their account got deleted, by the way, so I can't show you anything. But I thought the sketchy commission, you see how it's detailed, by the way, guys? You see how like detailed it is? I know it's like so hard to see because of how como se dice it is, but like como se dice, I know it's hard to see because of how tight it is, but you see how like it's detailed? A sketchy commission is detailed. It's a meme sketchy commission, sorry. And it's very detailed for a sketchy commission. Dude, I was so fucking sad when I got it back. I don't mean to be like rude. I waited an entire year for this. After that, I just stopped taking the commit. Like, I just stopped going with the commissions. She can draw good art, right? I think she can. I have hope, maybe. Maybe the art that I had was real. Ooh, I could get banned for this. I think she can draw good art. But then I started wondering, where did they, like, I think that she could draw good art. I think that she can. But then I started wondering, this wasn't AI, was it? This didn't have, like, my art piece that I wanted to have, like, AI involved, did it? Was that the one that took the year? Yeah, this one, I don't even know. This was, like, my very first commission from them. And then I got a second commission from them. And then I was low-key sad because I didn't really like how it turned out. And I was like, oh, well, maybe they were just busy, I guess. You know what I mean? That's fine. So then I got a third commission from them. And I ended up waiting an entire year. But because I ended up waiting an entire year, I went ahead and commissioned a different artist. By the way, this artist that I commissioned worked on our merch. So W to them. Chef's kiss. Very talented artist, by the way. I ended up commissioning that same picture, like that same meme concept, but from like a different artist. I ended up commissioning a different artist. They worked on our poster, by the way. They worked on the Rockstar poster. I love their art. It's so pretty. I was just like genuinely sad. If that one took a year, actually was AI, then that's even more embarrassing. Took 1 year to write a prompt. So I was super sad, bro. I was so fucking sad, man, when I got like those sketchy commissions back, because I was like, dude, does Gomi not? I'm not even joking. I think this is around the same time. Chat, do you guys remember? To a lot of you guys, whenever I debuted the Rockstar model, do you guys remember when I was like kind of like very insecure about like how my model looked, because I was like, is it hard design? Like, is my design like too hard to draw? It was that was the reason why. That was the reason why, because I was very insecure, because I was like, is my model like actually difficult to draw? Is she just too hard? Is she too complicated? That was the reason why.
Ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI. And guess what? This post would go absolutely viral, but not because of the meme itself. It would go viral because of the very humiliating community note that will be attached to it, destroying any ounce of her reputation in 1 day. And that's without mentioning the 2 Google Docs that were written about her. Now look, I've made a lot of videos about people getting community noted on Twitter, okay? But this right here might be the most merciless one.
But now you get those compliments from those other artists saying it's simple. Dude, I love it. I love artists that just they draw me with so much love, and it makes me so happy. There's like just, you could tell that they like fucked with my design, you know what I mean? I get all happy. I get all
2 Google Docs that were written about her. Now look, I've made a lot of videos about people getting community noted on Twitter, okay? But this right here might be the most merciless one yet. This is why I figured we had to talk about it. Before we step into this, just know that you can use the code Mujin for 10% off anything on the gamersubs.gg website. And now, without further ado, let's do this. Alright, so let's get one thing straight. Tracing has been a problem in the arts community for many years, even before ChatGPT and other AI tools came out. The arts community consensus about tracing was that it was okay if you were trying to learn, but immoral if you were trying to make it seem like it was your own work. And we didn't really need AI for that to be a problem. In fact, one could go back as recently as November 9th, 2025, when Hisashi Iguchi, one of the most well-renowned artists in Japan, would be exposed as having traced for, well, his entire fucking career. This guy's drawings were top of the game. You'd find them in exhibitions, you'd have companies hiring him to make posters out of them, and yet it turned out that the drawing he had made for the Chuline Culture Festival in 2025 was nothing more than him taking the picture of a woman on social media and just tracing over it. Quickly afterwards, people would start analyzing his past work, and it would turn out to not be an isolated incident. The guy has been doing this for his entire career.
Oh, wow.
Taking pictures all over the internet or by photographers and just claiming that it was something that came from his own head. This is very significant because even before the widespread use of AI, I could have very easily taken any of these images that he had taken, put them through some drawing filter, and made it seem like I drew it myself, okay? The inherent problem with tracing, or hell, you can call it just cheating, is that it's very easily detectable if it's done by an amateur, but very hard to prove if it's done by someone who actually knows how to draw. This has always been the case. And while we could, to a certain extent, cross-reference images that were traced before AI, that is no longer the case, because just about anyone can just generate any image they want, and it would be a unique image, one that doesn't exist anywhere else. So even if someone does trace, you can't prove it by cross-referencing their illustration to the original image. You have to prove it in other ways, and that typically requires a lot of effort, most notably, well, a Google Doc. This is where Gami comes in. An artist that has been active for the last 6 years and also happens to stream as a VTuber. She grew her following like, well, most artists would, drawing well-known VTubers and content creators, as well as participating in viral art trends. This would lead her to get followed by many of these VTubers that she drew, okay, some of them very big. And as an artist, if you get followed by some of these top guys, well, you get legitimized. People look at you and think, oh, well, if this person follows them, then they must be an actual real artist that does work on time, right? Gami would of course understand this, which would then lead her to open up her commissions. This is where VGen comes in, a website that gained huge prominence within the VTuber community, but now pretty much exists for just about anyone. What makes it unique is that it doesn't support any sort of AI usage, doesn't sell user data, and doesn't display ads. It also happens to be very exclusive. In order to create an account to sell things on the platform, you need a code. That referral code can only be acquired in one of 6 different ways, but getting a code is only the first hurdle. After you actually create your account, you have to go through multiple criteria in order to get verified by an actual real human being that will make sure that you are legit. And guess who had an account on VGen? Gami. She'd be charging up to $60 for a basic colored sketch, $30 for a Twitch emote, and $150 for a square-sized image meant to be used as a profile picture on social media. These prices just so happen to be industry standard, okay? There's nothing crazy about them. Some people charge less, some people charge more. But when you pay $150 for a profile picture, you're expecting to, get something made by a human being. That was what people thought they were getting. In fact, on January 28th, 2026, Gami would make sure to push this idea to her audience and anyone who might see this post on Twitter. She'd post this very simple meme saying, maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI. One of the replies to her post would be some...
I don't know, man. Maybe I should have... Oh, man. I don't know, bro. I think the situation itself, makes you really sad because it's like, you know what I mean? I think the situation just makes me really sad.
ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI. One of the replies to her post would be some really terrible AI slop. She'd make sure to reply to it with vomiting emojis. And here's the deal, right? This post for almost more than 20 days would have no community note. Gami would go on to continue posting art and living her life. She could have never expected that on February 18th, 2026, the user Ruru would quote tweet that meme she made about how she didn't use AI and would say, yeah, about that. Gami has been using AI in her workflow and selling commissions. Read. Linking a Google Doc. It will be around 16 pages long, and I have to say, okay, look, I love these artist dramas because this Google Doc is, of course, very well formatted, as you would expect. We'll start off with disclaimer. Do not send hate to Gami. This is merely for informing potential supporters and commissioners of the dishonesty about her workflow, including generative AI. This document and Gami's accounts contain suggestive/NSFW content. Great, I'm gonna have a lot of fun censoring this video. So look, this document mentions something very important in the beginning. The reason why this is such a big deal is because this person, Gami, was charging money while using AI. This is very dishonest. When you're paying an artist money, you're hiring them for their talent, not for what some generative machine can make out of a million convoluted drawings that it stole off the internet. The next part here would be introduction. First things first, please read knowing Gami herself has admitted to using AI in her workflow. Back in December 30th, 2024, someone would DM her, Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art? To which she would reply, I do sometimes, yes, but I draw them again with my own 2 hands, lol. I don't like taking them as literal references. Okay, cool, I guess we're done. Why is there 17 pages here? This is it. What else do you want? Well, I guess we'll find out. The document continues, now with this in mind, I will show you why I think she wasn't only using references here and there, but one-to-one referencing or possibly tracing for a lot of her viral artworks. And also that she sells commissions using AI without disclosing it to this day. I will document her dated posts and artworks as well as conversations with her. This is where we get to the next section titled Documentation. Gami joined my Discord server around the start of October 2025. Shortly after, some of my members messaged me privately to warn me about her AI usage and her past drama, since I don't allow Gen AI in my server. I didn't want to assume things, so I took a good look at Gami's artworks and then decided it was best to ask her directly than to jump to conclusions. The messages are in Turkish, but you will have translations. Translations are in purple. Some parts are blurred due to privacy of third parties and to not bring back past drama that has already been settled. Alright, so here we can see Ruru asking in Turkish, 3 things were brought up to me, and the people who brought them up will remain anonymous to avoid creating any drama. I think they mentioned these issues because they became worried when they saw that you joined my server and they felt the need to warn me. So the first 2 issues are blurred, I guess they have nothing to do with this drama, and then the third one is, the last issue is the claim that you are tracing using AI. Of course, there's no proof of that, and proving it is almost impossible these days. It's because both Clip Studio and Procreate have a feature to hide the reference layer when speed painting. I looked at your drawings a bit. Even though we follow each other, I'd never actually stalked your drawings before, and I personally found a few of your drawings suspicious, which is why I wanted to ask you. If you want, I can show you the reasons for my suspicions through the drawings and we can discuss it in more detail. This is when Gami would reply with, the AI tracing issue also arose because I was heavily referencing. I'm constantly sharing how I draw in the process anyway. I stopped referencing heavily quite a while ago. The document would continue, since she claimed she stopped heavily referencing quite a while ago, I showed her some of her recent illustrations that I found suspicious. So in this drawing we can see some sort of a puppy girl laying down on the bed and the feet look very oddly suspicious as if made by AI. Ruru also felt the need to mention that even to this day, this drawing remains the banner of her Patreon, right? And I mean seriously, like these feet look very AI-like, very suspicious. Ruru would then say she deleted this art post after this conversation but still uses it as her banner on Patreon. I raised my concerns about how her anatomy knowledge and coloring skills didn't match. Some parts, like feet and hands, are drawn messily despite the rest having pretty good anatomy. This is common with AI tracers/users. Her art skills also suddenly spiked after some point. This led me to believe these art pieces weren't only referenced, but one-to-one or traced. So on the left, we can see a drawing made by Gami on September 2024. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's decent. It's nothing like incredible, right? It's not something that will belong in a gallery anytime soon, but it is what it is. However, 3 months later, on December 2024, she would make a fan art of Yaklesh, a well-known artist and Vtuber. And here we can truly see the incredible difference. This is progress that usually takes place over years. And there she was just, making it look easy as if she just learned everything in 3 months. We also see another example of a drawing that looks really good, but the fingers are just weird. Something that AI infamously does all the damn time. The document then continues. Artists will probably understand that the drawing above, now deleted, has pretty good anatomy overall, yet the same level of skill doesn't apply to the hand. This issue is common in her drawings. She also came to my server a couple times to share her screen while drawing to prove herself, but she never sketched something from scratch. It was always something that was already drawn and halfway colored. She then sent me a speed paint as proof, but the speed paint didn't have a sketch and she drew things mostly without guidelines. For example, drawing the lines for the legs without a guide and other similar things. It was not very convincing, as you can just hide the reference layer and pretend like you drew it. So that's another thing with tracers, right? The idea that they just draw things out of thin air, when even some of the best artists in the world will still use reference layers. They don't immediately just draw a face and eyes like it's nothing. No, they'll actually take the time to reference where everything will be and then do that. I then showed her art on the right. God damn, I gotta censor that. Saying drawing something like this requires a lot of skill, and people who draw in color like she did on the left cannot draw like the right picture too at the same time. These 2 drawings are a few months apart despite there being a huge skill gap.
There's a huge difference. What the fuck?
Again, the same thing we saw in 2024, we're seeing again in 2025. In August, she would draw something that clearly has bad anatomy, right? If we're talking about the elbow and the hand, as well as amateur-like coloring compared to the one on the right.
Even the shading, that's what I'm saying. Like, even the shading looks different too. The outline as well. The outline of like things and shade. What the fuck, dude?
Posted just a few months later and looks insane. This is what you get after like drawing for 10 years, man. It's wild. And
That's
it's a shame
crazy,
that you can't really fully see it. Sorry, it's YouTube, not me. She then kept insisting that she knows how to draw, arguing she has traditional art she can show. And here we can see yet another conversation in Turkish between Ruru and Gami taking place in October 2020.
When I was young, if I were to trace something and my parents, they would literally say, I don't like it. I'm so sorry, man.
After Gami had
my
posted
parents raised me
very
a true artist. Dude, my parents told me to stop drawing Sonic characters. They told me to stop drawing Sonic, chat. I still draw Sonic. Oh, man. Hold on, wait. I have a picture. I drew Sonic recently, chat. I drew Sonic recently! My parents, like, were watching me draw Sonic, and then I showed it to them, and they're like, Annie, some things never change. And I go, is that a good thing? They didn't say anything. I was like, hello? Hello, is that a good thing? I was like, this was like a rushed picture, though. This was rushed, guys. This was so rushed. Look, I drew Sonic! I drew Sonic. It's so long. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How much? I didn't even get to actually draw it. What happened to his neck? That's rewrite. That's rewrite, guys.
Gami has traditional art she can show.
Thank
and here we can see yet another
I'll never finish
conversation
the drawing.
between Ruru and Gami taking place in October 2025 after Gami had posted that very interesting drawing that I had to censor. Ruru would say, I repeat, this isn't about not being able to draw. That's why it's harder to distinguish when artists use it. But for example, when we go back in your gallery, there aren't any anatomy drawings like this or close to it. It's as if you suddenly drew it so well. Especially if you go back to before the year AI became widespread, the drawings look quite different. It might be one of the drawings you heavily referenced, as you said, it might be referenced from AI. To which Gami would say, yes, I'm referencing AI. The document would continue. Here she admits to referencing AI for her work again. She doesn't disclose
what does it even mean to reference?
Any of her socials. It's well known that using AI...
Referencing something like means that like you're just taking the idea, you know what I mean? And then making it your own. What she was doing was just taking the art, AI art, and then just tracing over it. That's not even referencing. That's just like actually inspiration, kinda. What the hell, man?
In any way isn't accepted by VGen. She also sells commissions there, meaning she has been and still is selling AI-assisted artwork without disclosing it. So far, she had admitted to using AI for references. I asked to see the references she used to check for tracing. Here we can see Ruru saying, can I see the reference used for this image? Gami would reply with, I don't save the photos, Ruru, sad face.
What?
Would say, using a one-to-one reference isn't good either because
oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, buddy.
Reference used to see the references she used to check for tracing. Here we can see Ruru saying, can I see the reference used for this image? Gami would reply with, I don't save the photos, Ruru, sad face. To which Ruru would say, using a one-to-one reference isn't good either because it's not much different from tracing. To which Gami would say, I realized that too. After that, I completely removed that incident, which is referencing, from my life. Now I just pose in my head and use 3D models. Ruru would then say, it looks like you're regretting using heavy references. Gami would say, no, seriously, being called AI really hurt my pride. Ruru says, if you take a one-to-one reference from AI, it's perfectly normal for people to say that it looks like AI because it becomes AI indirectly. That's when Gami would say, I never thought of it that way because I drew it myself, but you're right. The document would continue and say she didn't have any references to show, and here she says she thought because she redrew the AI pictures, it still meant it was her own art. Despite all that, it looked like she regretted using AI in her workflow. But even after saying she stopped and being associated with AI hurt her pride, she still had drawings that were AI assisted posted on her socials like Twitter, VGen, and Patreon, of course undisclosed. I felt like she wasn't being honest. This is where we see their Discord conversation continuing, with Ruru asking, but if this situation upsets you and bothers you so much, why are these drawings still on your page? People who see them can just dismiss them as AI. Gami would reply to this saying, I don't usually have a habit of deleting posts. Sad face.
Guys, I feel so sad like watching this. I'm not even joking. I just feel so sad watching this because I remember the times that I commissioned her and I was really sad and she didn't put effort into it and I thought that maybe she hated me. I'm not even joking. I remember the amount of like turmoil that I was having because I just thought that she actually hated me. And I was like, did I do something wrong? Is it because like I don't talk to her? This is making me really sad, bro. I remember to having this conversation. I'm looking up, I'm having this conversation right now. And this was back in, this was in April. This was in April when I got that commission. And I sent somebody the link of a meme that she did, a sketchy, I guess like a sketchy meme. And I said, I'm not one to complain about art. You know this. And then he said, yeah. And I said, I feel like my art doesn't turn out this way. It feels rushed. And so I said it to them. And I sent them more. And I said, I love their art pieces. And I don't know how to say anything because I feel like, in a sense, I was like, I don't know how to say anything because like we're both mutuals. And I don't know what to do. I was like, I've been waiting for this art piece for so long, and to only get it back rushed has been made me really sad. Did I do something the matter with her? Did I did I do something the matter with her? Did I upset her? I don't know. Did I not say hi back? I'm confused. Does she hate me? Is my model too complicated? Please be honest. Please be honest. Is it too complicated of a design? I can probably commission Yami again to change it. I think she really hates me. Why would she rush my art piece, but everyone else's turns out well? Am I not a bigger VTuber? And after that, I just stopped the conversation. After that, I just moved on from the conversation. I said, I just don't want to be sad about it. Oh my god, dude. Desperate for AI work. She doesn't return my hi, so I'm gonna fuck up her art. The thing is, like, I didn't know, right? I had like an uneasy feeling about it, but I didn't know how to like talk about it, you know what I mean, with her, because I felt like I was gonna get nothing but excuses. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. I just wanted to know why my piece didn't look like said piece that I like wanted. There was one art piece that she did, and I've talked about it with another friend, and I said, I'm a little disappointed because it looks like this on what she presents on VGen, but I got this back. And it's not bad, but it doesn't look like that. You know what I mean? So I'm just like really confused. And this is like around the same time that I had just debuted and stuff. So I'm struggling with like, is my model not like, is it a hard design? Is this actually a hard design? I was like, I could have sworn like I made it super easy. Like the whole point like of like the Rockstar model was for it to be just a little bit easier to draw. Because I've had people complain about the space model, about like how it's, you know, the uniform and stuff is just a little bit difficult to draw. So I made it easier, less clothes basically type shit, so that my model was easier to draw in art pieces and stuff. And I just got really sad. I just got really sad because I would see like the art. I just stopped commissioning her because I would see the art pieces that she had, that she drew for like bigger VTubers. And I felt like, am I not big enough to have that kind of luxury? Why not just ask her directly? You didn't hear me! I just said why? I said that I thought that I was gonna like get nothing but excuses, so I just didn't commission her anymore. I just assumed that I was gonna get nothing but excuses as to why my art pieces didn't turn out like these art pieces. So I just avoided confrontation. I got a friend who's dealt with people he doesn't like who commission him. To be honest, he has valid reasons for not commissioning them. Honestly sounds like you're too nice. I'd be setting fires over it. Dude, I moved on from it, you know what I mean? I moved on from it, and it was just low-key so disappointing to like see all of this like happening. I was like, oh my god. I was like, Gomi, please don't be like, what? You know what I mean? Like, are we dead ass? Getting ego checked by her would be monumental. You're not big enough, buddy. You deserve ass.
Oops, sad
so
face.
sad
I
to be
generally
nice
post
to
them and then
me.
forget they exist. But you're right, it would be good if I deleted it. This is when Ruru would link one of her arts and say, and for example, even though you said you stopped taking heavy references, a post of yours from May 2025. The no-name fan art looks like it's referenced. Unless you decided to stop using AI 2 to 3 months ago or so, this post makes your claim about you quitting using AI not convincing, because you posted the AI referenced art for personal promotion. Gami would reply and say, I talked to No Name about the situation too, I explained myself, I also apologized if it looked that way. Ruru would specify in the document in parentheses, she did not apologize, confirmed with No Name. Gami would then say, and yes, I quit about 2 months ago, to which Ruru in the document in parentheses would say, which means she says she quit using AI in August 2025. Gami would end this conversation by saying, I understand how it looks, I'll remove the images I heavily referenced, I don't want to look like an artist who uses AI. The document continues and says she then went to her profile and deleted some of her artwork on her Twitter, but she did not delete any from her VGen and Patreon, which should be prioritary since it's where clients look. So here you go. Under pressure, she decided to delete the very AI-inspired artworks from her Twitter, but not from the platforms where people pay her money to draw. So essentially, she did nothing to fix the situation. So Ruru in the document would continue with, she said she stopped, so why did I make this document? I wanted to trust her, so I let this matter go for a while, hoping for a good change. But recently, I came across some of her posts on my Twitter feed and wanted to check. I saw that her VGen still had verified commissions that had AI involved in the workflow in her portfolio, and she posted suspicious art again on her socials. She said she regretted using AI and did delete some of her most recent AI-assisted works from Twitter/X. She said she stopped in August 2025. But to this day, she still uses AI on some of her commissions in her VGen portfolio and still posts on her alt. She's also running a Patreon where she shares her NSFW art, which is also AI assisted. This is one of her most recent YCH commissions on VGen, September 19th, 2025. This was created long before August and has the same skill gap as the examples above, so I'm positive this is AI assisted. She deleted this YCH offer on VGen, yet still does commissions with this YCH to this day. So listen, just if you're curious, YCH means your character here, so they're custom commissions. One offer she had on her page was YCH elbow, right? So your character here with your character trying to touch their elbows. And you know, if someone with big boobs tries to touch their elbows, yeah.
Big old Bahamas.
This is why
it's yeah, baby.
So here we'd see 3 different YCH arts. Okay, I have to definitely censor that nipple. Okay, I'm saying this just to remind myself when I edit. But overall, the whole point is that all 3 of these art pieces were done after August 2025, and they're very heavily AI inspired. Oh my god, I actually know this Vtuber. This is Alien Mixture, man. The document continues. She was posting previews to gather her audience on Patreon.
God.
You can see this also doesn't look.
The shading looks like AI. Oh my god, the shading actually looks like AI. Like the shading of like the skin. You know what I'm talking about, chats? You know, like AI art pieces has like a certain type of shading for some reason. Oh my god, bro.
Look like her real art, so most likely AI assisted. So here we can see her posting on Twitter this sketch, right? 1 hour sketch, by the way. Saying, remove the pasties on Patreon. So if you go subscribe to her Patreon, you'll get to see this art fully nude. This was the appeal. And it's still up on her Patreon to this day, even after this document came out. The document would continue. She also posted that she at least doesn't use AI, with frequently posted anti-AI content as well. So here we can see the meme she made about how she doesn't use AI even though she makes ugly drawings. And we can see multiple different tweets she made targeting AI users, calling them out and saying things like, an artist with a trained eye can notice you tracing over AI. Just a heads up. If you can normally draw, why are you tracing AI? You look like a sore loser. This is AI and the artist is lying. Do not be deceived. Unless they show an actual time lapse, I'm not stupid and your sketch is not a sketch. Always the AI sloppers. Even including a drawing of her character with the shirt saying, fuck AI. The document would then say, she made this time-lapse post while still using AI in her workflow. She claimed to quit AI during August 2025, but this was posted on June 17th.
Wow.
AI, but still use it? So here we can see a 15-second time-lapse of this drawing with her character saying, fuck AI on the shirt. And I mean, it's very, very clear here, right? That she's just drawing as if she's tracing. There's no reference whatsoever. It's like she's a genius that knows exactly where to place the eyes, the mouth, everything without making a single mistake, right? Without any hint that this is actually a real drawing, as if she's completely tracing an invisible layer here. Again, I really have to show you what an actual real time-lapse looks like, okay? I already used this example before in another video, and I'll do it again, all right? It's this drawing right here, and this is its time-lapse. So as you can see, it's a very messy process.
Right? I love looking at like time lapses or like speed paints. Oh, cinema. Oh my goodness.
Right? Nothing is set in stone until the very, very end. Things are constantly moving, getting scaled, getting cut. This is what a real time-lapse looks like. And with Gami's time-lapse, we're not seeing that at all. A day before posting that very interesting time-lapse on June 16th, she'd post some, let's just say a cat girl sucking on something, right, on her alt account where she posted NSFW, and someone would just straight up reply and say, this is AI made, don't call it art. The document would say, some people could already recognize the AI and call her out sometimes. This is how my Discord members knew, because the Turkish community is small, word spreads fast about dramas like this. She was already known to use AI in the Turkish community. This is when we get to the next section. I will now show the DM shown in the document's introduction. This is when I reached out to No Name. Gami had told me that she had apologized to No Name about the fan art she did for her that looked like AI. Here are her DMs with No Name. The character she was drawing has very, in all caps, big boobs, like F-cup big.
Okay.
She didn't seem inclined to change her sketch, using a weird excuse that doesn't make sense, possibly because the reference she's using had small breasts. No Name noticed how Gami's art quality didn't match her previous art and how she wasn't willing to do changes like boob size. These red flags led No Name to confront Gami, which then resulted in Gami...
I can't change my boob size? You're telling me I can't change my boob size? Oh! 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 If an artist tells me I can't make my boobs big, it's a bad day. Oh, it's a bad day.
AI usage. This fan art was posted on the 29th of December, 2024, now deleted. So even before the confrontation, right, this was December 27th, 2024, Gami would send a sketch to No Name, and No Name would say, oh, Gami,
can I make speed paints on your thumbnails? Yeah, go ahead.
How are you speeding like that? But booba should be bigger. 3 days later, No Name would realize that, wait a second, this actually looks way better than Gami's usual drawings, and would ask the question, Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art? After Gami would admit that, No Name would say, make sure to use different references as well, otherwise you can accidentally train yourself doing the same mistakes AI does, LMAO, to which Gami would say, I would rather slip on ice than do AI mistakes on my own human-made art, I would never, LMAO. No Name was not informed until they asked. There isn't an apology as Gami claimed either. No Name does not support AI and states it publicly, so Gami made fan arts using AI for No Name, knowing they're against it. That's why No Name asked if Gami was using AI, since they also found Gami's art suspicious and wanted to check with her. All the artwork that was done for No Name is now deleted from Gami's profile. So look, so far, this already looks pretty damn bad for Gami, alright? But this next section that we're about to look at is titled Artwork Comparison, and I think you can kind of tell what we're about to get into here. This is where the document takes an in-depth look at showing us what her art used to look like before AI, and how much it differed after AI. I need to censor that nipple again, just saying that for editing purposes. I cannot forget this. Anyway, this section would start with why I think Gami isn't only referencing, but referencing one-to-one or possibly tracing to this day. We'd get 3 reasons. The first one would be her art skills without using AI are vastly different from AI-assisted ones. The second one, she doesn't have any proper art videos showing her sketch phase, and her streams usually start from already half.
I low-key get it, feeling like insecure in your art pieces, and then like, you gotta like, I get feeling insecure, you know what I mean? Everyone feels insecure about something, within their work. That's totally understandable. But what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Art. And the third reason, she doesn't show any of the images she says she's referencing from, so it's likely traced or one-to-one referenced. So here we can see that even after starting to reference art, she would still attempt to make her own art, right?
Her real art and then AI assisted. Dude, her real art looks pretty. What the fuck? What? Oh my god. Why? What? Like, why? Why? What is the point? What the fuck? What is the point? Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I'm so sad, guys.
Trying to maybe mix it in with the AI-assisted posts, but even then they were very noticeable, right? It's not like they just blended in effortlessly. Here's a drawing from November 19th, 2025, in which you can see a clear gap in skill compared to the one posted on December 1st, 2025, as if it was two different people.
Wow.
We already saw the second example with fan art for Yoklash, but there will be way more examples here. I think the biggest difference here are the complex poses. She has a basic understanding of anatomy, but not complex enough to be able to draw something like this effortlessly. This is, of course, without us mentioning the incredible shading, right? The rendering here that is usually
like, it's like the shading on her real art looks so nice too. You know what I mean? So like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
really only seen with people who have been doing this for a very...
I would pay for this instead of this. You know what I mean? This looks like heavily AI. You know what I mean? At first glance, this is heavily AI, right? But if I saw this, I'd pay for this. What the fuck?
long time.
AI has that oil shading. Right. Oh, that's the way of saying it. Yes. Oh my fucking god. Thank you. I didn't know like how to explain it, but that is like the perfect way of saying it. Holy shit.
What's even worse here is this comparison of these two
Wow, dude.
drawings, which were both commissions on VGen. Okay, both of these were paid for. The first one, made in December 2024, looks to be somewhat her art style. It is a fairly simple drawing. The second one, though, made only 2 months afterwards, could have been AI assisted, most notably with the posing and the rendering, because it's not as flat as the first drawing. But worst of all, in all of this is her deleted artworks. The document would say, after saying she was going to delete her heavy reference from AI artworks, she deleted these art pieces from her Twitter. And yeah, if you're watching this with your own 2 eyes and not doing chores right now, you can very clearly see the massive,
I'm unemployed, Mujin. I'm unemployed, Mujin, so don't even worry. I'm always watching. Wait. I'm just watching the video.
For instance, and not doing chores right now, you can very clearly see the massive, staggering difference between this kind of art style and the ones we just saw above that involved her using her actual own 2 hands without referencing AI. And also bear in mind, according to the document, this first image that we already saw earlier with the fucked up fingers was a paid commission.
You're always
Someone
watching?
paid money for this.
I don't know what you're
Someone
talking about.
paid money for Gami to generate an art piece using AI. This is when we get to the conclusion. I am positive that Gami still uses AI in her workflow, despite saying she regrets it and that she quit in August 2025. As you can see the document, she was still posting AI-assisted commission work on December 1st, 2025. I think the customers and her followers deserve to have transparency on her workflow. Not everyone wants to buy AI art or AI-assisted art. I hope this becomes an opportunity for her to finally come clean and draw without using AI. Or if she continues using it, at least disclose it in her profiles and stop her activities on VGen where people come to buy human-made art.
True.
To Gami, I was quite happy to have a Turkish artist friend and I really wanted to believe you. Since the Turkish art community is already constantly in chaos, it felt really nice to have someone to talk to. But as time passed by, I realized you weren't being honest with me or with yourself. I'm normally not a person who writes docs like these, but I felt secondhand responsibility about this since I'm also Turkish, from the same community. I really hope you can come clean. That's right. You can do anything you want in your life, guys, but never mess with a Turkish person's sense of identity and national pride. Otherwise, you're gonna have a Google Doc written about you. In any case, this document made things clear. Gami was not the person she was claiming that she actually was. She was very clearly using AI to assist in her work and sometimes tracing it one-to-one. Hell, I think sometimes she would just post it without really tracing anything. I mean, this Shy Lily drawing is crazy, bro. Like, there's no way she actually drew that when she was drawing things like this barely a year before. But overall, of course, the biggest reason for this document having been made is because she was charging people money, both on Patreon and VGen, all while promising human-made art. This is not the case here at all. But Ruru wasn't done yet. On February 19th, just a day after that initial doc had dropped, they would reply to their quote tweet and say, after this doc, some people reached out to me to tell their experiences with Gami, including ghosting, hosting raffles but not drawing the winner, etc. Read here. This leads us to the second Google Doc, in which people who actually hired her or worked with her exposed the terrible client-to-vendor relationships that they experienced, starting with the first section, rushed commission followed by ghosting. Vtuber Mochi Mochi have commissioned Gami on VGen after seeing her commission for another Vtuber in September 2024. Mochi wanted a similar styled commission from her and commissioned Gami, but the piece she received didn't look similar in style to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So
you could have been in this video.
For something that looked like this.
No, dude. I don't like... I promised myself that I wouldn't be involved anymore. Low-key, being involved in, like, drama, it's not fun. You stay updated and watch from the sidelines. Yeah, dude. That's all. Like, I don't want to, like, partake in it. I think all of, like, the, como se dice? All of, like, the Kingsman drama, low-key made me really paranoid. I'm not even joking. I was super fucking paranoid in that Kingsman drama. You know why? Because there was so much more people watching me. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I did not like it. It low-key fucking... having that much eyes on you, it's not fun.
From her and
it's not
Gami,
fun.
but the piece she received didn't look similar in style to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So she was asking for something that looked like this, right? The drawing on the left, something with that same style and type of rendering. What she got on the right, I mean, can you even call this a sketch? Like, this
oh my god, this is the art. Okay, wait. Okay, I gotta show you guys. Hold on. Hold on. I remember this commission. That is what I wanted. Oh my god, dude.
Complete as
that is what I wanted, right?
Mochi wanted a similar styled commission from her and commissioned Gami, but the piece she received didn't look similar in style to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So she was asking for something that looked...
That is what there's like so much details in the commission, right? There's so much details in that commission. This is like the reference I sent her, by the way. My model was just done being made. We had just gotten done with the rig and everything. This right here is how I want it. It's like so much details, like in such a sketch. Guys, I was really disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was so disappointed. And I think this was... Oh, was it the same person? Yes. I was so disappointed because I thought that my... Were you like, did they send me the wrong VTuber? I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? They swapped the hair. I was like, oh, either outfit is fine. You know what I mean? Like, you can go for either outfit. It's chill. They swapped the hair. They didn't get my fucking white streaks. Not my, no white streaks in my hair. That didn't matter. You know? Locally hated, not there. My boobs are gone. There's no tail. The reference didn't have a tail, so I'm not even upset about that. But I think what I was like really confused was I was like actually nerfed, and when I got it back, I was just like immensely disappointed, and I was super sad. So then I was like, I guess I'm making a new outfit because apparently this one's too hard to draw. Nobody knows which one to draw, you know what I mean? I remember the amount of sadness I felt every time I commissioned Gomi, which was 2 times, but it was the immense, like the amount of insecurity that I had because I felt like I had to be a bigger VTuber to deserve high quality art, and I felt like I did something wrong, and I felt like my design sucked. The amount of sadness I felt because I would text a friend about it and be like, is it wrong for me to feel like this? Like, am I a horrible person? They're like, no, Annie. Like, I would be upset too if I got back rushed art. And I was just like, did I do something the matter? I was like, did I upset them in any way? Did I not? I did something wrong. I did something the matter. So After that, I just stopped commissioning. Like, I just genuinely stopped commissioning Gomi. I was like, I don't have like a high enough status to be able to have like high quality art. That's like the copium that I was like fuming. That's like the copium that I was like actually huffing. Like, I just don't have enough status. That's all it is. I just don't have status to be able to like get such quality art, because they were making such beautiful fan art of like other people. And I assumed that like, is it because like I'm not a big VTuber? And then I realized, oh wow, after like all this stuff like came out, I was just like super disappointed. I go, the amount of insecurity that you gave me in my design, the amount of insecurity that you have fucking like put upon me because of my design. Made me feel like a fucking loser with my design.
Like out to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So she was asking for something that looked like this, right? The drawing on the left, something with that same style and type.
Do you feel better knowing it's not your design's fault? No. No, I don't feel better. This situation makes me feel weird. You know what I mean? This situation 100% makes me feel super fucking weird, dude. Because I'm like, I still don't feel good. You know what I mean? I still don't feel like, I still don't feel great about it. It's a fucked up situation regardless. I mean, very valid for sure to feel that way. I would never wish that shit on my worst enemies, bro. Oh yeah, you want to be a cunt to me? Well, I hope every artist draws your character wrong. Oh yeah, want to be mean to me? Well, I hope that they draw you the wrong character. It's not a good feeling. Oh my god, it's not a good feeling, man. I don't even know,
something
bro.
That looks similar in style to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So she was asking for something that looked like this, right? The drawing on the left, something with that same style and type of rendering. What she got on the right, I mean, can you even call this a sketch? Like, this is incomplete as fuck. It also barely looks anything like Mochi's character.
Wow.
Mochi even bothered sketching what she wanted, how she wanted her character to look with her ears down. But this doesn't look like that at all. It looks like some sort of weird beanie. This is when Mochi would message Gami on Vtuber, saying, I have a question about my surprise delivery. I ordered it based off the image I saw posted on your Twitter. When I went to see mine today, I was very unhappy about the quality. Is there a reason why the two photos are both so different in quality? I also noticed her bottom right thigh forgot to be colored and right below her thigh bracelet. And yes, that's true. I mean, this wasn't even colored, dude. Gami would reply with, she had a very filled up design, that is why I had to pay more attention. My personal opinion is that I shaded yours more, but if you are unhappy with it, I can retouch on it later this week. This is when Mochi would say, I'm sorry, but I feel like this piece was rushed and not treated with the same care. I circled the part of the thigh where it is missing color, it's just white. The mochi and the ears also feel rushed. You can say you shaded mine more, but the thighs are not shaded at all. I'm just a bit upset because I was really looking forward to this piece. Thank you for offering to retouch it, I really appreciate it. The document will continue. Unfortunately, after this point, Gami ghosted Mochi and the commission review period ended on Vtuber. Mochi didn't receive any touch-ups as promised or any updates. Mochi left a 1-star review. The document would also prove that Mochi actually paid for this commission, $45 for an incomplete sketch that doesn't even look passable. But I wish that's where it ended, because the next section features a giveaway winner that didn't get their art. The document would say, Gami and a couple of other artists had made a studio called Mellow Studio back in 2023, June. Gami was drawing, someone else was rigging the art, and they were offering VTuber assets, models, etc. Around January 2024, they created a chibi VTuber called Mellow Chibi. With Gami's suggestion, they have made an art plus rig raffle for these chibi models to boost up their new product. Raffle was held on the 7th of January 2024. The winner didn't get their model for 10 months, so they decided to text on October 19th, 2024. The winner ended up not getting their art. After 1 year, they also didn't even get a reply from Gami. The rigger was very upset at Gami for not providing the art since it was a collab raffle, so they stopped working with Gami. Mellow Studio became inactive. The rigger also reached out to the winner. So here we can see the DMs between the winner and Gami. They reached out in October after 10 months, and they were very polite, by the way. Hey, it's been a little bit, and I was wondering if this was still happening. If not, it's okay. I just wanted to know. Smiley face. Gami would say, it will be happening. Yes, I have you in my calendar. I have picked back school, so I have been quite busy. The winner would say, oh, that's okay. Take your time. I was just curious. Thank you so much. 5 months later, in March 2025, the winner would reach out again saying, hello, I just wanted to check in. I in no way want to bother you. I'm just curious about when we expect to get started. I recently had a design update, so I just wanted to check in. Again, no rush at all. I know you said I was on your calendar. I'm just curious. So obviously, very unprofessional and unacceptable. And as the document would say, the rigger would end up reaching out to the winner on Twitter saying, yo, Gami hasn't even started drawing your model. I reached out a couple times. She doesn't seem to really care. So instead, I'll draw it and rig it. The rigger would cut all contact with Gami, but Gami would then go ahead and continue hosting raffles anyway. That is crazy. Like, how shameless can you get? We would then see Gami's commission queue for Vgen. This is her queue for paid commissions, right? I pay her money, she puts it in her queue, and this is where I can see the progress. There are commissions that have been there since October 2023 that she hasn't even begun to work on. Oh my God, this just keeps getting worse. The next section would have yet another unsatisfied customer paying over $1,000 just to get this Vtuber model in 3 different outfits. On the third outfit, the client asked for thigh-high socks, and this is what they got. Some sort of a weird gradient. As if the model had like put her feet in some very hot water in a cartoon or something. It looks weird. And finally, just as you've been telling yourself, no, this can't get worse, right? She can't get more shameless than this. Well, the section's called Undelivered Models. During October 2024, Gami launched a project under their studio called Fawn Studio. How many studios did she make, man? This is a studio that makes Vtuber models and Gami's the artist. The project was called Fruit Gals, and it was an audition-based Vtuber model giveaway with some rules. So look, this was structured in a way to resemble Vtuber agencies where you audition, and if you're accepted, you get a Vtuber model. You wouldn't get a salary, but you'd keep all your donations, and you'd be part of a group. But if you decide to leave, you obviously can't keep the model. It's owned by the studio. One of the girls that auditioned and got accepted would reach out to Ruru and would talk about how she and the other girls were completely and entirely misled. So essentially, Gami would be posting these updates, right, of these different models that she was drawing up, and they were very excited. But then at some point, the updates would just stop, and Gami would stop communicating consistently, leaving all the members in the dark for months. Here we can see one of the girls deciding to reach out to raise her concerns on behalf of everyone else in the group, saying, hey Gami, I'm sending this message on behalf of me and the girls, and I would like to say that we are all tired of unresponsiveness, lack of communication, broken promises, and lack of care. It was actually a very considerate message, with this person even saying, I hope what you take out of this will be, don't bite off more than you can chew. It genuinely came from a good place, but more importantly, one thing she would say is, we'd have understood if the models had taken a—
These girls waited for a model. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my God. You got their hopes up so fucking high. Oh, this makes my stomach hurt. Oh, you are so fucking mean, bro. That's fucked up. You got me. That's fucked up. Oh my God. Oh man. Wow. Oh my God. This is making me mad, chat. I'm not even joking. Oh my, I'm getting so angry. Why? I can't. Annie, don't tweet! Don't tweet! Don't do it! Don't fucking do it, Annie! Oh, I'm getting so angry watching this, dude. I'm getting so mad. I'm actually getting so fucking angry.
Months to finish, but it has now been 8 months. The document would specify the reason why they're saying we would have understood if the models had taken a month to finish, but it has now been 8 months, is because Fawn Studio had posted that they can finish and deliver models in around a week. That is insane, by the way. Okay, if you want—
My God, hello. Oh my God, they replied to Iron Mouse. They were just clout. She was just clout hungry. What the fuck? Oh my god. I need a pickle. I need a fuck a pickle, bro. I don't know why. I'm so angry. I need a pickle. A pickle.
A custom drawn model that is rigged and ready to go. You need months, man. There's no one in the world that can do this in a week. After this message, both Gami and the rigger involved with the studio would respond. They would both somewhat say the same thing, so let's just read what Gami had to say. I apologize for the lack of communication on my end. I'm very overworked and I do my best on keeping up with everything. Art is my only income, so I have to keep working most of the time. That being said, I have finished 3 of the models and already have sent them over to blank, which is the rigger. I'm not blaming her in this since she also has her own commissions that she has to work on. Please do keep in mind that Food Gals is a passion project on my end. I do not gain anything from making you models. I understand you, I really do, but I'm booked until September and I'm drawing constantly. For the last model also, I have started drawing her. I don't usually have the time to just sit down for days and work only on one thing since I have commissions that hit me constantly. I was hoping to finish her later this month since I'm done with my year for school. Nobody lied about anything. I told you guys from the start that I would do my best and I'm doing so. I still am sorry that you guys felt not cared for. I never wanted this. All I wanted was to be able to help you guys grow and make content the way you guys wish to make. The document would then say, but after this, again, there were no updates. A couple months later, on August 1st, 2025, we'd see 2 messages from both girls separately saying, hey, I'm out. Okay, this is clearly not happening. I don't want to do this anymore. And Gami wouldn't even bother replying.
Wow.
So look, by now, this wasn't just about AI anymore. This was about Gami being
Oh my god,
bad
this shit is
person.
pissing me off. This shit is pissing me off. I don't even know if I can finish this. Oh, I'm getting so angry. Oh, I'm getting so angry. Oh, I went from being completely sad to just being so upset now, dude. I don't like this. I don't. I'm so annoyed, guys. I'm like just...
to work with, very badly treating some of the clients and having this habit of empty promises of doing these giveaways that she never honored. At this point, she was officially a compulsive liar in the eyes of the community. There was nothing she could say that would make anyone believe her. This is when her viral post saying that maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI would get community noted. And the community note would just straight up say, Gami uses AI for her drawings. Like just straight up, no bullshit. She uses AI. Shut the fuck up. Linking Ruru's initial Twitter post and the first legal document we went through, obliterating her reputation, her career, her online presence in just one sentence. Very few community notes can compare to the savagery here. But of course, you might be wondering, what about Gami herself? Does she have a response? I mean, she clearly saw this. She got community noted very humiliatingly. What did she have to say? And how did it manage to make things worse somehow? Gami would post this on her Twitter on February 20th, 2026. One day after the second Google Doc had dropped, saying, I have done a speed paint to address the AI allegations. This was done completely live on Twitch with a full display screen showing my entire process. The link to the VOD is down below. I'm aware of the other things being said and everything will be addressed soon. There's a lot to go over and I want to make sure I address everything. This has been a lot to take in, so I thank you for your patience. The top reply here that almost ratioed her would say, no one is denying you can draw. You draw very well. The thing is, none of this is reflected on these. And it's scummy to say you are against AI when admitting to have been making drawings very heavily AI referenced. Just say in your profile use AI as part of your process. Additionally, even during her stream, it would be clear that she was using AI references to draw the thighs. You can see this right here. This was on her own monitor. It didn't help. If anything, it only made things worse. Facing even more backlash after that disastrous stream, Gami would quote tweet the second document that Ruru had written and would say, sorry for the wait, linking her own Google Doc. This would be one of the shortest Google Docs I have seen in my life. It could have very easily been a tweet, but she would say, I'm sorry for taking this long to address all of this. I had some time to myself and had to calm down before I made a statement on the matters at hand. I would like to start by apologizing to all my clients that feel wronged by me using AI as reference for their artworks. I'll be transparent in my art processes going forward and have clear communication with my clients to make sure they're satisfied with the commissions they will be getting. If any of my current ongoing commissions that have paid for their commissions want their funds refunded, I'll be refunding your funds. Also, if any of my commissioners want their progress recorded for full transparency, if it means they will feel more secure about their commission, that's where the sentence ends. That's literally where the sentence ends. Like there's literally a fucking period at the end.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Well, English is not her first language, but hey, at least we can be sure she didn't use ChatGPT, okay? She actually wrote this herself. She would then say in parentheses, I will also be posting them on YouTube as an unlisted playlist, so there will be a record of all the work I will be doing. This is not an excuse. I've been really busy with real life stuff in school, and some of my work has been rushed because of this. I've been very irresponsible.
There's an art piece that I've been waiting for, guys. There's an art piece that I've been waiting for, and this person is in college. I'm assuming they are. They did mention that they had school and stuff. Oh my fucking god. Oh, I'm so excited. They sent me the sketch. I've been like waiting over like 6 months. I've been really patient. I'm a patient person when it comes to art, okay? I get a little excited, all right? I get a little... But I'm a patient person when it comes to art, okay? Brother, this art looks beautiful, and it's just a sketch. And it's just a sketch. But it's like, if I don't get like an update from you, if you don't tell me that you got some shit going on in your life, and I don't have to ask, you know what I mean? Like, I am not the one to reach out. You, the artist, are the one to tell me that you got some shit going on. Babe, it's fine. I am completely as long as you just update me, I completely understand.
And some of my work has been rushed because of this. I've been very irresponsible with my scheduling and will be getting help on my scheduling moving forward. I'm also thankful for people who have patiently waited for their commissions. I'm sorry it took as long as it did for me to get them done. I'm sorry for disappointing everyone, and I promise to do better moving forward. So look, not only was this response grammatically a disaster, it was a disaster in and of itself. It didn't address anything. It was very vague, and I mean, you don't have to listen to me say this. Ruru said it themselves, replying to her post, ratioing her, and saying, "You didn't address the raffle winner or the past clients who purchased AI-assisted work without knowing. If rebuilding trust is the goal, taking full accountability is the first step to do that. I believe those situations should be acknowledged and refunded properly as well." That's a very good point. What about the raffle winners? What about the people that you gave empty promises to? What's ironic here is that she wasn't quote tweeting the first document, she was quote tweeting the other document that talks about her terrible communication with clients, with the raffle winners. I mean, honestly, at this point, deleting your account would have been better than putting this Google Doc out to the public. Like, what the hell is this? 100,000 views and barely any interaction. People were done with this. They had already made up their minds. The proof was there, and there was nothing she could do except take accountability, and she failed to do even that. On the original quote tweet that Ruru had made, with the initial document exposing Gami, you'd see many people in the replies pretty much disowning her, right? They might have come across her fan art, they might have liked it before, they might have interacted with her, but now this was over. This is not someone they wanted anything to do with. After this whole debacle, Gami would continue posting on her Twitter. And yes, it does seem like she's not using AI, it does seem like it was, drawn actually by her, but the trust is lost.
Wow.
No accountability means no forgiveness, and it's going to be very hard for her to build back up what she already had. This is especially considering that her VGen got suspended. She can't take commissions anymore, and she's essentially lost the fan base that she had taken years to build. Look, I can't predict the future. I don't know where we'll be years from now, and I don't know whether there will be a day where society will actually accept AI as a whole. This was such a roller coaster of emotions. However, if you want to use AI as reference, or hell, as very heavy inspiration to your art, at least specify that. At least be honest about that. If someone's willing to pay for that, then hey, good on them. It's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. But don't pretend to be someone you're not, because that's just what a scammer does. And you don't want to be labeled as a scammer, because if you are, you end up like Gami. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you want to see actual amazing art that is not AI assisted in any way, featuring my character, as well as exclusive videos posted every month, then make sure to check out my stacked
Wow, this was like
page,
so
link in the
disappointing.
description and the pinned comment. Prices start at $1. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is, and I love you so much. Platonically. Take care.
Bye, Mujin! Ew, imagine being an AI using loser. Anyways, here's a prompt to generate a big booty puppy girl. Big booty! Dude! Oh, that was such a horrible video. I mean, it was good, right? It was good, but oh, fuck, dude. It was so... I just was immensely disappointed. Oh, I'm so disappointed, guys.